Today we're talking about all the books that I read the first half of the year. But it shouldn't be too long because I've only read 8 books this year. So let's get started. First things first, The Pairing by Casey McQuiston. I started the year off with this. I read it from like January to February. It is a exes to lovers romance. They end up re-meeting like 4 years after their breakup on this European tour that lasts 2 weeks. But with that, the setting... 10 out of 10. Okay, the way Casey McQuiston literally describes everything from scenery to the food that they're eating feels like I'm there. Feels like I want to be there right now. I remember while reading this, I was thinking this would be so good for someone who actually loves like food and wine, like is into that, like maybe a chef or something. Like I really enjoyed this book. It was a good way to start the year. I gave it 4 stars. I didn't really mention, but as for the romance, they definitely realized that it's been 4 years, but they're still very much so into each other. The next book I read this year was Flawless by Elsie Silver. This was a little cowboy country romance. I read this from like March to April. Are we seeing a trend here? I didn't really read much this year. It's basically Grumpy Sunshine. She is hired to kind of fix his reputation, make sure he doesn't go buck wild again, should I say. He is a rodeo bull rider guy. So I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for the small town country vibes. Like that, here for it. It was super lightweight, very low stakes. This is definitely if you're in the mood for the country small town vibes. This is the book for that. With that being said, it's not anything life-changing. I think I gave this like a 3 stars, but the characters do have depth. I remember they were being very open and vulnerable with each other, so there was a lot of character development and just like self-growth. So, loved that. Okay, and then we take a little turn. It's now May, and we read Scythe and Sparrow. I think that's how you pronounce that word. I'm not going to look it up. Every time that I've said that word, I had to look it up beforehand. Scythe and Sparrow by Bryn Weaver. This is a funny, humorous dark romance, so love that. Basically, he is a nurse or a doctor, and she is part of this traveling circus, but she's also a killer. Okay, she kills bad men, which is like the theme in this whole Ruinous Love trilogy. This book follows Rose and Fionn. He falls first, small town romance. I would say it is kind of insta-lovey though, not gonna lie. I feel like he just sees her and he's like, dibs. Like, I feel like it's like that. I remember liking both characters. However, I think it was my least favorite in the series. This one I give like 3 stars, which again, isn't bad. It was really good, but... yeah, I did feel like the ending was a bit rushed. I felt like they were just trying to add things to it. Okay, we're still in May. I read Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. This was, I think, a new release at the time. When did this come out? Oh, it came out in February. Okay. Right. This one caught me off guard. I wasn't ready. This follows Lucas and Scarlett. She is a diver. He is a swimmer for the same college. She's also going to med school and recovering from an injury. Like, she's almost fully healed. It's just this mental block that she's trying to get over. They very much have nothing in common other than intimate things. So this whole book is basically their intimate relationship. Personally, it wasn't my favorite because I definitely saw more of a physical connection rather than emotional connection. They definitely got together for the physical reasons but stayed together because the emotion. However, I personally felt a lack of chemistry between the characters. They didn't match in my opinion. But I will say, there is lots of character development. Scarlett, the main character, is overcoming this mental block from an injury that she had while diving. And so the book is her trying to overcome that. And Lucas in the book is very caring and very supportive. And I did really like his character. He was a bit weird. He was a little standoffish, a little cold sometimes. But that was just like how he was. I don't know. It was different. It was different, but yeah, not my favorite. I think I gave it like a 2.5 stars, maybe 2 stars. I don't really think about this book much, but I love Ali Hazelwood. She is an auto-buy author for me. Okay, next on the list. We're still in May. I read One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Taylor Jenkins Reid is one of my go-to authors for when I want to fully immerse into a fictional world with fictional characters who feel like they're real people. And she did just that with this book. This follows Emma Blair. She has a husband who ends up going missing, and they declare him dead until he returns like 2 years later when she literally has a new fiance and is happily in love. Okay, so she is trying to figure out her feelings, her emotions. How do you come back from fully grieved your husband who had passed and is now back. How do you heal from that? But she explains it in here. So, anyways, I actually really loved this book. This is a 4.5 star for me. Taylor Jenkins Reid books are usually higher rating on my list, but save yourself the time and don't watch the movie. Don't watch the movie. Okay, now we're moving to end of May into June. I read Summer Romance by Annabelle Monaghan. This book was such a quick read. If you're looking for a quick read with all the summer vibes, this is the one. She is a mother who is grieving both the loss of her mother and the loss of her ex because they are going through a divorce. She ends up meeting this guy who ends up being her best friend's brother that she didn't realize was her best friend's brother. I hope that's not a spoiler, but it's one of the tropes. This book felt so wholesome. Not is it really only about finding love again, but it's about finding love in yourself and self-care. Super cute. I loved the guy who stepped up, the one who really showed her how she should be treated because he was super just caring and thoughtful. I believe I gave it like a 3.75 stars, but honestly maybe a 4 stars. It was around there. Really good. I listened to it on audiobook and it went by so quick, so would recommend. Next I read 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. Okay, the concept, okay? It follows two authors who have been secretly writing about each other. It's past and present perspective. It goes 15 years into the past when they were younger and 15 years later, both following the same week. So this book takes the span of 1 week. I will say, they go through a lot. Like, this book describes a lot of what happened, especially in the past. There was a lot of things that they dealt with as teenagers, so I would recommend checking trigger warnings. But overall, this was such a good book. It shows the hardships and getting over that, how you can really turn your life around and cut generational trauma. It's definitely like a 3.75 for me. I loved this book. And I read it in June, so it just felt right. Okay, and then next book. This is the last book. Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood. I just recently finished this book, and this book caught me off guard. Was not ready for it. Even though it says it in the back, I wasn't ready for it. It's an age gap romance. It follows Maya and Connor. They're 15 years apart. 15 years apart. I wasn't sure how I felt about age gap romances until I realized how bothered I was by it. I wouldn't say I was uncomfortable because Ali Hazelwood did not make it weird. It was not weird at all. It just threw me off. Your girl was struck, okay? Shook, okay? I did overall like the book because of the yearning, the love, and the chemistry between the characters. It was definitely there. It was present. It was in the room with me. It is also past and present perspective. It goes 3 years into the past and 3 years into the present, where they are now both at her brother's wedding. Did I mention that Connor is her brother's best friend? So there's that too. Some things to note, it is spicy, but also there's no weird power dynamic. He was super mindful about the age gap. Her, not so much. It was good. I gave it like a 4 stars. Definitely loved the slow burn, the yearning. Was there for it. Age gap, I realized I'm not the biggest fan. That is definitely personal preference though. They're literally both adults, so it makes sense. And then I'm gonna go ahead and throw in a bonus book because I'm currently reading it right now, but by the time this is up, I should be completely done with the book. Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. Currently, I am on chapter 25, page 211, but let's hear my final thoughts of the book. This book was so good. A singer and a songwriter literally become telepathic. They are able to hear each other's thoughts and they're sharing the same melody. They hear the same melody. They figure that they're not going to get out each other's heads until they finish the song. So that's exactly what this book is about. But it's so much more because why did this book literally bring me to tears? This book is super magical. It's a small town romance. Shout out Outer Banks, Paradise on Earth, okay, North Carolina. The banter, the chemistry, the connection, so good. Loved it. But this book is so much more than just a romance. It explores grief and love, but not just relationship love, but familial love and how music can bring back memories and just how everything just ties together. Oh, it's so good. With that being said, this is a 4-star. Ugh, so good. Would recommend. Her writing is so magical. She uses so much figurative language, lots of similes. Okay, very happy about this one. And that is it for all the books that I read this year so far. I definitely had a slow start to reading this year, but we are picking up the pace, okay? I have a lot of books on my summer TBR. Make sure you guys are watching my little getting through my summer TBR series where I'm trying to read majority of the books on my TBR shelf that I picked out specifically for summer. So it's definitely all the summer vibes, as you can tell by the last couple books that I gave you my little review on. But yeah, let me know how many books you guys have read so far this year. Drop in the comments. I'd love to see where we're at on our reading goals. I have not set a reading goal for me because I don't know how many books I'm gonna read this year. As you can tell, I've only read 8 so far. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos of mine, and I will see you all in my next video really soon. Okay, bye!